Hey everybody, welcome back to Orman Arms. I'm Frank Johnston and I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Today we're going to start part one of a two-part series on assembling your P80 kits. I hope everybody was able to also knock off a few items off their wish list this Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So let's get into this. Today we're going to start working on part one of a two-part series of building your P80 or your Glock 19 clone. So right here in front of me we have just the parts for the slide. So today we're going to start on the slide. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an inventory check. What you need to do whenever you get a package with your kits, make sure you have everything. So first we have our slide and we got our barrel. You want to make sure you check it, that everything looks good, nothing's bent or damaged on your slide. Then what I recommend is that you get a container of some sort, Tupperware or a little pan dish like this to put your parts in. So that's what we're going to do now is we're going to dump out our parts into this little pan and we're just going to do an inventory check. So you've got your recoil spring, you got our safety button, got our firing pin, your firing pin spring, your back plate, your extractor. Here's many of our kits will come with a tool to assist you in putting together your slide. You're going to have two sleeves for your firing pin. One will be slotted and one will be a little bit longer with no slot. You're going to have two half retainer for your firing pin. You got to have your spring for your safety button. And then you're going to have this bar, if we can get it out here. You're going to need your spring. And you're going to need your rubber nipple. Okay, and the reason you do this is that things don't roll off. You've kept account of everything that you have. So you make sure you have all your parts. So now let's begin with our slide. That's where everything's going to go. Now one other thing I also do is I use these large swabs and I put a little oil on it. And that's all you're going to need for the whole gun, right there. For that whole slide at least. So we're going to check to make sure that our barrel fits right. Slide that in. That looks good. We can remove that. All right, that's good. So now let's assemble some of our parts here before we begin, because we want to have those parts assembled before we start oiling. Because once you get oil on your fingers, things are going to start flying and you're going to lose springs and parts. So we'll take this part here, we're going to put the spring on it, and you're going to hear it snap. Get it in there. It is tough. See if we can get that in there good. I'm going to use my Glock tool here to help press it. These are the difficult, but that tells you it's good quality because nothing's falling apart on you. There you go, got it around there. She's on there. Now we're going to get that little rubber nipple. We're going to slide that in, and that also is going to click. There, she's assembled. We just set her aside. Now we're going to go to the firing pin, which some people do find to be difficult to get together. It's a little tricky. You need, 4 hands to do this. So you're going to take your firing pin with your little toe, one of your sleeves, the one that's grooved, slide that over, and that toe should fit up in that sleeve just like so. Then you're going to go to your firing pin spring. Lay that over. Now this is where it gets difficult because you need to get these two retainer washers over that spring with the spring compressed. So one thing I always recommend, if you don't have vices and tools, is use your slide. So I can hold, compress that slide, that spring, get my first washer on there, and I can let up and see if I got it on. So, and just one should hold it right like that. So now that I'm on, it's easier to get that second one on. Get that set in there. Now keep it compressed. Try not to talk too much while doing this. And get your second one on. This can be a little difficult, so keep your hands over it. Slowly release. And now you have your assembled firing pin assembly. So those are all done. They're assembled. We'll just make sure that our spring for our safety button goes in properly, and it does. Good. So now let's get to assembling this. Need our sleeve. So you're going to take this sleeve, inspect to make sure there's no damage, no burrs on it. So everything is perfect. Now up here on your slide at the rear, you'll see the large hole. That's where you're going to slide this in, the sleeve in. Start by hand. Take your tool that you get with the kit, or if you don't have one, you can use a punch. So try to find a punch that will fit in there, and you can slide in and bottom out. You want to make sure that you bottom out with that sleeve before you continue further. Now we'll take our firing pin. We'll slip it in there. First, let's do a little bit of oil just from that swab. That's all you need. If you're dropping it in there, you've got too much oil. Just want to use a swab. And you'll see that the sleeve will stick out and you can press it in. That's perfect. That's what you want. So now we're going to go into putting in your safety button. It's going to go into this larger hole on the inside or the bottom. And I recommend that you hold it on an angle and slide that in. Just a little bit. And you should be able to just take your finger and press it, and you're good to go. Now we're going to get into our extractor. Our extractor is going to go right here on the side. Now that little round nub is going to go to the rear towards the firing pin. You should sit pretty flush, and your spring still goes. Now you're going to get to this part here that you've already assembled with the black nipple. Let's put that back in. You got that with both hands, both fingers. Now I'm going to slide that with the rubber nipple first into that smaller hole. And press everything down. And just with that little tension, your extractor and your safety button are going to stay in place. Now you're going to take your back plate. You're going to start it up. This does take 4 hands, like I said. Start that plate. Now you got that. You're going to want to stand it straight up for obvious reasons. Things don't fall out. And you can use one of your Glock tools, your punch that comes with the kit. And you want to press, if you can see that, that's that sheath sticking up from the firing pin. You're going to press that down lightly, slide up just a little bit to catch it. There you go. I got it. But I still have yet to do the safety pin. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press that safety pin down. The plate a little bit. There we go. So let me use my punch. There we go. Now that I've got the cap slightly over that pin, you can just press it in and you're good to go. You can take your firing pin and pull it back, you're good to go. Your safety button, make sure it works. Yes, she works. And here's your extractor. She works. Now, you're pretty much done. We're going to take the barrel, slide your barrel in. She's good to go. Take your spring with rod, place it in the front, and then compress and lock into your barrel. And you're good to go. And your slide is assembled. The last thing you can do is once you buy your sights, you put them in, a little bit of Loctite. You're going to use one of your Glock tools here for your front sight to screw that in. Most sights that you're going to get aftermarket are going to have a set screw. So you don't have to worry about buying a sight press. So that is your slide, completely done. And just stay tuned and we'll have part 2 ready for you on building the lower frame. So everybody, thank you and have a great holiday.